Hi, my friends. So I was requested by my son to make something I made for him for his 10th birthday party. And it was a haunted treehouse. Yes, you're probably saying, what is this? It is a way for you to have kids get their trick or treat candy in a fun way. He had a birthday party when he was 10 years old. Uh, Not something we did a lot of, not at least during that time frame. And part of the kitschy thing I wanted was we made a little house. We put treats in the windows and the doorway, and the kids had to put their hands through and get their treat. And sometimes it would have silly string in it. I don't remember. I think I was thinking about shaving cream so that it was gooey, but I don't remember if we actually did that. Now that we're not going to do silly string and goo in this one, it's for a community event. He wanted a cute way to give out trick-or-treat candy, and he asked me to recreate this. Now, it's a little different, a lot bigger than what I originally did, and he was 10. You know how long ago that was? Let's not go there. So the only thing what I should comment the fact that we needed to be able to refill it. In the original one, it was made, the window and doors were made out of paper, and the kids would pop it so that once you've popped it, that was it. That one was taken, so you had to pick another one. In this one, he wants it so that we can refill them. So I had to make a way for him to go in through the back, and that's what I'm making here. I'm making like a little trap door, and that's where I had to start because I was like, how am I going to do this? Because I really wanted it to be nice. So I have a large cardboard box, um, very sturdy, undid it, so I inverted it so all the commercial stuff was going to be on the interior of the house. And I cut 3 sides of what will be the back end of the house so that he can lift it up. What I'll do is I will be putting a cardboard handle on it, and he'll be able to look in through the back. Now this is the front, so I considered how wide it was and where the door needed to be, and then made windows. And here's the tricky thing. I had to make it so that the kids could put their hand in, grab their treat, and bring their hand back out. So I made it big enough for my hand to get through, and I figured, well, that should work. And I think it will. I mean, it's a lot bigger than it appears here. And I saved the insides. I'm cutting out the arched windows and the square door, but I'm keeping those insides because I'll be using them for the shutters. Now, they're not going to be, how can I explain it? Generally, shutters will be half, one half will be half the window, the other half will be the other half, and when you close them up, the windows will be closed, right? And whatever. The thing is, though, you can't do that here. One shutter is going to hit the shutter from the next window, so I had to cut them down. So they're not accurate, but then this isn't a miniature of a real house. It's just supposed to look like something of a haunted house. There's probably a lot of people. I think there is a lot of people that do make haunted houses. I don't know that I've not seen one that's been made to be a treat dispenser, but I do know there's these 2 guys that did. Oh gosh, I have to find their name and give them to you. Probably at the end of the video, I'll post it. They made a haunted house for their cat to sleep in, which I thought was hysterical. And I like the way they designed the house and the use of lights, so I am incorporating that because they inspired me. And I just was like, what, how am I going to do this? And the thing is that's really nice is it sort of is reminiscent of the Addams Family house. If you look at the silhouette, it's very reminiscent of that, and I like that. That's the style I wanted. So um, it was helpful to see their video, and I suggest you do that. I suggest you look around and just kind of look at everybody's videos to kind of inspire you. I mean, that's what they're there for, right? Obviously, I don't have a recipe to give you. I don't have a pattern I could give you. All I can do is inspire. It can get done. Now, I thought it was going to take me at least a week. But actually, if I consider how many hours of footage I have, it was about 4 hours, not including the time it took me to spray paint the house itself. Now, what's happening here is I have to make a floor. I have to make 2 floors. So I took another part of a cardboard box, supported it with some backing on the scored. Even if the cardboard box is not folded, they score it well enough so that it would collapse. So you have to be careful. So I added additional cardboard on the score lines so they didn't fall, they didn't collapse or fold. And now I'm just putting out some hot glue and then having the flooring and standing that up and then reinforcing it like you would with grout, just going across the edges so that it supports it. And it pretty much, I think it'll hold it. I don't, you know, I think over time, if it gets wet or if it gets too cold, it might collapse. I'm not sure. It seems to be holding up pretty nicely right now. But then I'm in Arizona, and the part of Arizona I'm in, if it gets to 70, we're like freezing. We're like, oh my God, it's so cold. So I think it'll last at least until Halloween. Now, I'm holding it, and it's actually, this is really sped up like 8 times. And so I'm just holding it so it'll dry. Um, the other part that I had to work with was separating the windows from each other, because once you put the treats in there, you want them to stay separate. You don't want them moving around on the floors. You don't want the kids moving the things across and then one kid doesn't get anything or it falls off. So once the second floor is put up, I attempt to do the separation of the windows. So I took the scrap cardboard that I had, because I did make a mock-up of how was I going to separate, how was I going to make these individual windows. So I took the scrap from that and developed half walls, if you will, between the windows. So I attached them from the bottom floor to the top floor, and it didn't have to be very long because nobody's really going to be looking in except for, my son looking in from the back. And so I just needed to have it designated so that each treat would stay in its one area. So I attached little partitions or sections, and I just used scrap cardboard to do that. I'm sure, if I were to redo this, I could be a little bit better at making the rooms. But I think the idea is like you're just itching to get to where you're actually decorating. That's the fun part, isn't it? So did all the floors, and then I thought, I needed to keep it from getting pushed back. So I did put a half wall up on on there so that the treats didn't get pushed off through the back, because that was a concern I had. Whether or not that will happen, I don't know. But, what can I say? This is how it went. And I have to tell you that I that was so surprised when he brought that up to me and said he wanted me to make that. And I just felt, um, wow, that was something that, he had a really good memory of that. I have to tell you that most of the things that I did were things that were created out of a necessity um, to make it fun. I say necessity because we didn't have very much during that time, and just trying to make something that would make everybody just be like really, happy. Now you have to remember the time then. Um, I didn't have the kids carve pumpkins. I had them decorate pumpkins, like with paint. I brought paint, brought a whole bunch of little pumpkins, and we used things like yarn and I think it was like if you go to the supermarket, you can buy uh, the the what's it's like Brillo, only it doesn't have any soap in it, and it's like steel. Well, it's not as coarse as steel wool, but it looks like a Brillo pad. I don't know if they still have it, but we use that to for hair and construction paper, and that's how we did pumpkins. Nowadays, you can go to any pumpkin patch and you will find painted pumpkins. Now, I'm telling you, this is like, gosh, if I only thought about that at the time as being something popular. But there you go. I remember I made one, I worked in a flower shop, and I made a decorated pumpkin like that. And I went into the office and I got black magic marker, white out, and a red marker, and we had like the frilly paper you use to stuff fruit baskets with, and made a a pumpkin that way, decorated a pumpkin like that, and it turned out the person that was using it for their party won first place. It was like, oh my God, who'd have thought? Whiteout and magic marker. But it worked. Okay, so here is where I struggle with making the roof, or the faux roof. And you see at the top there was I put a little three-sided box on the top, and then created a roof structure, or looks like a roof, and it has the round circular window in there. That is like the tower. I didn't want it to be too big, and I needed to have a spot for the roof. And you make the roof shape, but then you add extra material to the bottom half of the roof so it sticks away from the box itself in a slant, and that way it looks like you have you have a roof. So that's what I'm playing with here. Now, the tower itself, I apologize. I could not find a video of that. I, I just ran the camera as often as I could, and obviously when the battery runs out, I have to change it, and I might miss something. I maybe that's what happened. Maybe I missed that. It just seems like it's missing for some reason. But it was just a three-sided box that I glued to the top. It didn't have a back to it, and it didn't have a top to it, so that I was able to work from above and put things around. I end up putting lights in there. You'll see that at the end, and just trying to get the side pieces to look like a roof. If you look at the Addams Family house, you'll see it's similar, not exact, it's similar. There's a piece missing off of the right side at the bottom, and the tower is much taller and it sticks out from the house. I didn't do that because we have to have it so that the kids can put their hands in and grab a treat, and my son can go and refill the treat areas easily. And if it's too far away from the front or from the back, he won't be able to reach in and do that. Excuse me. All right, so you can see how it looks like a rooftop. It isn't, but it looks like. And I was playing around with the idea of having a dilapidated staircase in the front. Unfortunately, I decided to get rid of that because it would transporting this and having things that came off the front of it was most likely going to get to be problematic. So I decided against that and opted to just leave it as is. So see, you can have a little spot in there. Now these were like three-dimensional gravestones and zombies and stuff that I was given to use as decoration. Here is how I decided to do the flap. Originally, the flap, and I apologize for looking like I'm in costume. I didn't expect that I was going to be on video, so obvious. Anyway, the original was done with paper, and this one has to be a flap. And I found this at Michael's, and it will be attached with, first I'm going to put some masking tape on it, and then go from the back and put hot glue so that the masking tape will hold it up so that the hot glue can dry. And you can see I already spray painted it. The box was first sprayed with a metallic black and then a silver on top. And I was kind of looking for that haunting look from it. And it turns out this spray paint's pretty good, man. It really did look like it was metal, and I wasn't expecting that. So this is where I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to help you see. I don't know how it's going to work. So I decided to show you this way. You see how it's attached there? And that's what I did. I attached everything on the top, and you can put your hand in, grab what you're going to grab, and leave. And I was trying to utilize all the pieces I had. This is it's a very stiff material. It's not quite foam. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's made from. But it was like, if I had known, I thought it was foam, I would have gotten more because I can see making other things out of this stuff. It was from Createology. Wait, did I get it from? Yeah, I got it from Michael's. Anyway, it was cool. So just measuring things out, and I'm going to put the door in. I decided to use the stripe for the door, and I think that worked out very nicely. And here again, I was attaching it with masking tape, put hot glue on it. I kind of rolled up the bottom and then went in from the back. And the funny thing is, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I have to hurry before the glue dries. And you know how hot glue is. It wasn't going to dry in any stretch of the imagination. So I was like, I don't know. All right, so just checking on the see how I roll it? Checking on the size, attaching some hot glue, and I always have to use my chin to get the glue stick to get in there, so it doesn't attach well. I need to get me a new glue gun. And I'm sorry, I tried. Tried to show you the inside, but there it is. And then they can just put their hand in and it pops out. This was the fun part. This is where we're going to put up some skeletons that I had, and then I found these sticky gummy, like, I think you're supposed to put them on window. It's window cling, I think. It's very sticky. And I was attaching it with hot glue. The thing is that the next day I saw that it peeled off too easily. So I redo them, and then I attach some of the clear packaging that it came in, and I covered it so that, if somebody went next to it, or it wouldn't fall off. So it was attached pretty well. I did glue and, hot glue, and I attached this packaging to it. Now here I'm separating out what I have for the graveyard that's on top of the roof, and they're too much fun. So I hot glued them on, and just if you have the plastic skeletons that you can get from Dollar Tree that are actually $1.25, you can position them. Way you would do it is you can cut one side and sort of bend it. What I found worked really well for me is if I cut it off. So for his arm to come up and wave, because I had their arms come up and wave, or bent so that it would look like it's holding on to the roof, I cut it at the elbow, repositioned it, and attached it with the glue. And it really actually does not look too bad, even though it's been cut apart. You probably could pull it apart, but because it's plastic, it melted back in, and it works out fine. It doesn't look bad at all. I mean, it's kind of spooky, so it kind of looks like he's got cobwebs on him. It worked out well. So I'm just attaching everything. I do have a close-up of this whole rigmarole later on. And just attaching, there was Christmas trees that had like icicles on them that were also on sale. Well, they weren't on sale yet, but they were available. And I picked those up and I attached them to the front of the house. And then I had, there were scary eyes that I suppose you use them for treat bags or something. I put them all over the front of the house. Glued everything on with hot glue, so that eventually I got a little carried away. But it was fun. I think what happened is I saw my eyes were like just really happy with all of the color and the Halloween look to it, that I just decided to go with what I had and glued everything on. Now, there were Christmas lights available because, God forbid, we should just stick with Halloween decorations being out. That's what I had to choose. I was looking for the little Halloween battery packs, and all they had was the Christmas battery pack. So I got those, and I ended up fussing about with them and putting them up. They take 2C batteries, so hopefully they will last a little longer than a AA ones do. And it was just so fun, I really enjoyed decorating this. So I had paper things I put up. I'm trying to get the thing to focus, and I had to put my hand in there so that it would start to focus. Isn't that awesome? I just love it. I just love it. It looks so much fun to me. Even though the things are like comical and realistic yet not realistic, I just think it's hysterical. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun and engaging. And then paper crafts, I had a bunch of paper crafts I put out in the front of it, and I just like the way it came out. I like it. There's the eyeballs that are all over the place. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and I do hope the kids that come to get their treats enjoy getting their treats this way. So you would put your hands into either a window or a door and grab your treat. So this is how tall it is. That's my table right next to it. I really think the lights really work out really well. And there's my skeleton saying hi to you. I'm sorry you're getting a better view of my kitchen than you are of the top part. I will ask, if you've lasted this long, if you would be so kind as to subscribe and share, or give me a like and comment. I am so grateful for those people that have decided to be a subscriber and follow me on my journey through Craftum. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get past the 800 subscribers, which I've been at for several years because I have a job. I have to work, and so sometimes I can't get in here to videotape. And the only thing I get to do is do my crafts just to stay sane. This was a fun project. I enjoyed bringing it to you. I hope to see you again. Bye.